Hey everybody, Al Puglisi Trains. This is an episode of A Day in the Shop. This time it's with Al Judy. How you doing, Al?
Good, good.
And my wife will say, "Well, what are you guys doing outside?" Well, Al's shop and loud is inside the garage, and my wife is reluctantly said, "Okay, you can have the garage for your O-scale two-rail loud." And I'm like, "What the hell am I going to do with the garage door?" And Al, well, let's Al will show us what he did with his garage door. Let's check it out. Let me switch the camera. All right, Al, show us. Look, let me pan away.
So we had the 16-foot garage door taken out,
Okay.
and I designed this and had a contractor build it for me. You roll this open. That door is a dummy door.
Okay.
It's a wall. Latch this, and you walk right into the shop.
And let's see the shop. And it's a perfectly clean shop. On the channel, if you look at Howard and you look at some of the other shops, and you know, all of us have our shops, and this is Al Judy's shop. It's beautiful, Al. Wow, it's so clean.
Yeah,
you didn't know I was coming, did you?
I did not.
Okay.
Anyhow, I didn't clean it up for you.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer in a neat space makes for neat work.
Right.
So at the end of every project, put every tool away, the paint away, wipe everything down, and start just like this. Every day when I start the new project.
Wow.
As I was just telling, I did this, and this morning while I was drinking coffee, I made this concrete dock. I poured it last evening, took it out of the handmade mold, and painted it, weathered it, had the bumper board on it, and set it there to dry this morning.
Oh, wow.
And of course, when I got done, wiped the table down,
Wow.
put everything away, and ready for the next project.
And let's talk about, well, here we have some nice drawers with, you've got all your goodies here nicely sorted, and a customer's, and you customize engines for folks.
Right. This is detail. It's a stock Bachmann locomotive that he sent me, and I weathered it and detailed it out with all the detail. Added a crew, a real coal load,
Wow.
the greedy boards on the bunker.
Wow.
So,
and I'll have a link for you for people can get a hold of you and discuss that. And then this sawmill model knocked my socks off when I walked through the door.
So this is White Ground Models. This was their original master they used to sell their O-scale kit that came out in 1985, I believe, 85 or 86. And it has a full Charlie Brommer interior in it.
Wow. Now, Charlie, was he another famous modeler?
No, casting company.
Oh,
they
okay.
made all the machinery and everything inside. Sierra West bought them out. It's now Sierra West.
Okay.
But this is when Charlie Brommer, CHB, the company was called, and they made tons of O-scale detail parts. So this had sit in a basement for years, and I got it. It needed to be touched up and put back together, and
Wow.
so it's getting there. Repaired the roof and loose parts and broken parts.
Let's see if we can zoom in on this thing back here. Now, yeah, this is just beautiful. Alrighty. All right, now Al, you were saying you were doing stuff for other manufacturers.
Right. A lot of times they'll send me their originals, and I do up the masters for their the picture on the cover of their packaging or for their ads in the magazines and things like that. This was an oil column. It's a resin 3D printed oil column, but to look at it, you wouldn't know it isn't pewter or something like that. It's a good looking piece. And the same with this one. I built that one just, it's a kit, and I built that as a master.
Wow. And you keep everything so neatly hung and got the pegboard and have a lot of stuff on the pegboard.
I hate knowing I have something and not being able to find it when I need it.
Right, and you've got
So I try to keep everything labeled and organized. And
let's go over here, and wow, you've got some paints, and you've got, ooh, look at all this wonderful flow quill or polyess.
Nope, Floatwool, Poly-S, craft paint, some Tamiya, lots of Hunter line stains.
Oh yeah, Hunter line.
The golden acrylics there in the squeeze bottles on the end of the second shelf. I use those mixed with alcohol to do groundwork, like for staining rock castings and things like that. They work great for that.
Wow. All right, let me pause this and talk about your layout building escapades. Let's give it a pause. You know, I looked up, Al, and I'm like, oh my God, these are old school control panels.
So I found this at a train show, and I couldn't let it go to the dump because, believe it or not, the lettering on this is all hand painted.
Oh my God.
This is from the early 1960s. Somebody hand painted the lettering and painted the stripes on it. And up there's the board control for it that went with it.
Okay.
And I told the guy I'll buy it just to save it from going to the dump. I mean, can you believe somebody hand painted the lettering on those?
And I remember these in Model Railroader. These big controllers. This one here was made by, what was the name of the company? God, I can't remember. Master something. I can't remember. I remember seeing ads for these things.
Marnold was the company that made them, I believe.
And people could piggyback them together.
Right. Well, there was a kit. You could add gauges, reverse loop switch, whatever you wanted to put in it.
Right.
You could do anything to it you wanted. So they were very cool. They were ahead of their times.
Before the days of DCC, folks, this is how.
Yeah, those actually have a big old rheostat inside.
Oh my
Just
God.
open windings. Yep.
And then when you watch the video that I just posted on your layout, there was a background building that had green and white, and you said some of the windows were open, just like the prototype photo there.
Right. So right there's the prototype.
Wow.
And I made the same windows open on the model that were open on. I had a larger picture of it that showed the whole building.
Now, what is this Al Judy station? What is this building up here? I mean, what is this thing? This is cool as hell.
This was a homemade, another control panel that somebody made, back probably 50, 60 years ago. And found it at a show,
Wow.
a couple dollars.
Look at
and
this.
I thought, just save it for the sake of saving it.
Look at that control panel.
Yeah.
Man, that had to be somebody's dad's or granddad's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's way before my time.
Wow. All right, well, let's pose it and talk about your model railroads you've built. So Al, you were telling me you build layouts.
Well, I do all kinds of custom work. I mean, I have built over the years for museums and private layouts and collectors and things like that. I do custom weathering, lettering, whatever people need.
Right.
I can do just about any of it. The only thing I don't do is electronics. I don't do any electronics.
Okay.
Just not my thing.
Well, show us in these magazines.
Right. So here's a layout that we built up in New York. So we started with an empty room and used commercial bench work.
Wow.
And the owner had an artist come in and paint the backdrop for it.
Oh, wow.
We used truckloads of foam because it's a huge layout, all mountains. There's 600 trees on this layout. And this was the first article of how it was building the layout. So it shows it in different stages as we go through.
What magazine is this?
This is O-Gauge Railroading.
Okay, O-Gauge Railroad.
Right, they did a double issue on this.
Usually they don't devote this much time. This is spectacular, and that's why they devoted so much to it.
It's a double issue. Here was when I weathered 400. They dedicated an entire page just to weathering 400 feet of track and 86 switches.
Oh my God! Oh man!
So once it was finished, I built this in 29 days, from the empty room to the day we shot the photographs.
29 days.
29 days, till when we shot the pictures for the magazine articles, for the 2 magazine articles.
That's and you had no help.
No, the owner was stood by and handed me what I needed, and
right.
I did about 8 feet a day.
Right.
Sort of my claim to fame is how fast I can build things.
You're
I've been
amazing.
doing it for 50, 60 years.
Right.
And I'm very quick at it. So that's what I'm known for, is how fast I can build things.
And not only build right. I mean, this is spectacular.
Right. Well, I've had enough practice that I've eliminated all the problems. I know what not to do wrong.
Okay.
So almost all scratch-built buildings on this layout.
Wow.
I built them specifically for the scenes that he wanted. Now, of course, the buildings I built ahead of time. They weren't part of the actual layout build.
Right.
So,
Now you're not currently you're booked up. We might have folks asking. You're pretty booked up.
Yeah.
You're not really doing anything.
No.
Anymore.
I just had a call the other day, and I said, I'll point you to somebody else. I've just got more than I can handle. 600 trees on this layout. It's fantastic to see it in person. I'm going to try and hook Al up with the owner and see if we can get in there. The depth of it's incredible.
Now, you were talking about the artist doing the let me lift
Right.
this up, the trees here.
Right. So when we designed the layout, I met with the artist and spent a day with him, and we decided on the colors and that we wanted to use.
Mm-hmm.
I showed him what I was going to use in the layouts, the trees I was going to use. He matched the backdrop to the colors I was using so that it just flows. It's endless when you look across it.
Wow.
And the back row of trees here are actually carved out of foam. There's a scenic drop in the middle of the layout. So it's got a town on one side and the sawmill and everything on the other side. He carved out of 2-inch foam pine trees along the top of the divider.
So those aren't actual. Those are foam.
Nope, the ones in the back are just foam carved trees, and he hand painted them.
Did he hand paint it? And they look like trees.
Oh, they match right in. I mean, you can't tell where one ends. If I want to build it, no, you'd never know.
Wow. Now let me just see. This is O-gauge railroading. What issue is this? This is what month? Okay, this is July 2017. And the guy's name, what was the name of the owner of the layout?
Sam Panisi.
Sam Panisi. Italian.
Italian.
Yes.
Sicilian.
Yes.
Yep. But anyhow, it is a spectacular layout. He knew what he wanted, and no holds barred, and we built him exactly what he needed.
Wow.
So that was one that I built. I've got lots of magazine articles. I built one for a gentleman in Georgia, and he wanted a little 4x4 with two trains running on it.
That's all he wanted.
And he wanted it 4x4 so it would fit in an SUV. He flew up from Atlanta to pick it up, rented an SUV, and drove it home.
Wow.
So I built it, and the magazine article was called 8 Days in June. So we started on the first day with just a stack of lumber. And on the 8th day, it had fiber optic lighting, all scratch bit buildings, 2 trains running on it, fully scenic, ready to go in 8 days. I built it in my shed out back.
With no help.
No help, no.
Good God.
No. So foam, plaster, did the rock castings, everything. So.
Well, Al, I am very impressed, and so really at this point in time, though, you're not really doing it anymore.
No.
Okay.
I've got 7 grandchildren. Another one, number 8, coming next month. Wow. So starting to spend a lot more time at home and with the family, good. But still do small jobs here and there. Right. But I really want to do a lot of modeling for myself.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, folks, if you need help, I'm nowhere near what you are, but contact me. I might be able to help you with your trains. I'm always willing to share, give advice, give opinions. I'm all about supporting the hobby. Right, and that's why I do this channel. I put myself out there, but 99% of it is I'm tired of seeing beautiful layouts and people that are artists like Dick Elwell. Those guys suddenly dying.
Right. And
there goes a work of art, a national treasure.
Right. And if you haven't shared your skills, then, it's gone forever.
Right.
I've been modeling. I got my first train in 1962. Okay. By 1970, I was painting and weathering and decaling and have been doing it ever since. I owned a hobby shop. I have 5 decades of experience.
Wow.
So, if I didn't share it, it would all be gone.
Right, and that's what Howard and I are trying to do. Howard's teaching me, and we're filming it, and that's part of a day in the shop. Right. That's one of the series. Now, so folks, when you go to my channel, you can go to my playlist. It says videos, shorts, which are short videos. Then it says playlists. You can click on the playlist and go down to a day in the shop, and you can click on a day in the shop with Al Judy or a day in the shop with Howard Zane, and we're going to have more day in the shops with famous modelers
or people that aren't famous but are just incredible artists to share it. So, Al, I really appreciate this.
Sure.
And stay tuned. We're gonna do a segment of talking about brass. And you're gonna show us all your incredible locomotives. Thanks.